It is early spring, beginning of March here at our Georgia suburban homestead. These cherry blossoms literally opened up overnight. This is early, and we are expecting temperatures in the 20s again. You get that? That's a Chickasaw plum. And who's going to do the pollinating when the honeybees really aren't that active until the daytime temperatures are above 50? Normally the temperatures at this time of year are going to be below 50, below 55. So we have native bees that are called solitary bees, mason bees. Some people call them orchard or blueberry bush bees. They do the bulk of the pollinating, and they don't sting, but they lay their eggs in tubes. And I've got some, I'll show you how to set them out, and then we're going to go build a smaller version of this house. And I'll tell you a little bit about solitary bees. So Charlie's going to have to remove the wire that we put up. That's just hardware cloth, and it's keeping the woodpeckers and the wrens and everything like that for actually pulling these tubes out and eating the babies that are inside. So we'll watch Charlie do that, and then you can watch me put bees out that just came in the mail. All right, so Charlie, who's having a Meniere's disease attack, so we may kind of make funny noises or fall over. But he's helping us out despite not feeling very well. I have two kinds of bees that I actually purchased and put into this bee house a couple of years ago, and they reproduce. But I also buy a few every spring to make sure that, just in case predators got them over the winter, that they're still okay. But basically they lay their eggs in a tube, and the tubes need to be 6 inches long minimum, because the bees, if you buy one of those prefab mason bee houses at Home Depot or somewhere that sells pretty things, they're only 4 inches usually, and for some reason the bees, if they don't have the full depth of a tube, will only give you boy bees. And it doesn't take a genius to realize that all boy bees is not going to mean bees for next year. But can you see the plug?
Yep.
Okay. There is a front side and a back side. The front side kind of pooches out at the end, see? And the back side's a little concave. So if you buy bees and you stick them in your bee house, make sure you've got the back facing the back and not the front. Providing a variety of hole sizes is important, because mason bees and leaf cutter bees have prefer different size holes. So I ordered these avocado straws made with it's totally biodegradable. I ordered these from Amazon, and as you see, we've got bees in it. She didn't do the whole tube, which means somebody probably ate her before she got done. And I collect tubes to hold the bundles of reeds together, and these tubes are toilet paper tubes or tubes from paper towels or wherever you find them. I offer a workshop where I give a full lecture on mason bees, and then we build the houses. If you tell me in the comments after you subscribe and hit that bell so you get all your updates that you want an actual workshop, then I'll offer one. They're $35, and then we are selling mason bee house kits. There's a couple of different sizes of mason bee houses that we offer the kits for, and the prices vary from year to year depending upon what the supplies are. If you want a kit, you can let me know in the comments or send me an email that I'll put the link underneath that you want a kit, and PayPal me the money. Do you see the holes in this leaf? That's a leaf cutter. Leaf cutter bee laid an egg in a tube, went up to leaves, and they'll do this in your garden too. So if you see holes like this in your plants in the garden, don't spray. Those are your leaf cutter bees, which are pollinating your squash and your cucumber and your things that are blooming later in the season. Do not poison anything. Leaf cutter bee holes on a turmeric leaf. They really liked it. These are your friends, okay? All right, so here's our box. Let's see what we got. All right. This is the back. This is the front. Here they are going back into their house. Now this is the first time that this bee supplier has sent me bee blocks. I'm used to getting them in tubes. So I guess this is one reason why we have an attic. And I'm going to move these down. And I've got 2 sets of things here. We may have to order more bees for the front garden now that we have raised beds out there. This is the beauty of being able to move things around. Mason bees and leaf cutters will not sting you. They don't come after you aggressively at all, but if you catch them in your hand, then they will defend themselves. But you don't have to worry about your kids or your pets or your neighbors. One solitary bee does the work of 120 honeybees. As you see, these bees are terribly aggressive. I'm being facetious. You can handle them. They will not sting you unless you trap them between your fingers or in your hand. Watch how it crawls gently across Charlie's knuckle. And they're native, whereas honeybees are not. And we've had some predation. I checked these through the winter and I didn't see any signs of predators getting in, but I just got some frass, which is a fancy word for bug shit, out of this tube. And you can see it's already hatched. So this mason bee is out there doing her thing already, thank goodness, right? And I don't see where the predator's been in the tube. Some people will open these tubes in December and take the babies out, dip them in Clorox water, let them air dry, and then put them in a little plastic tub with moist paper towel and air holes, and just put that in the refrigerator until about February or March. Again, I've got to see, that's the front, that's the back. The reason you want a lip is give them a front porch is to help keep the rain off of the bees, because you don't want them to get drenched. So a little bit more about mason bee house siting is you want to put it at least 3 feet off the ground, facing south to southeast, so that the morning sun hits those tubes and wakes the bees up. 3 feet off the ground, facing south, southeast. Can you get that little box out of there, hon? No? All right. Show the camera if you don't mind. When you order loose bees, a small amount of loose bees, that's what it comes in. And you tear a hole in the front or just open the flap and stick it in a tube in there and out they come. And I have videos up of doing that when they crawl out on our fingers and we talk to them. And the first bees to emerge are the boys. And how do we tell they're boys? They have mustaches. They literally have little yellow mustaches. The bees are fairly inexpensive. Of course, that fluctuates with year and supply. But the cost of the wood fluctuates, and right now with the pandemic, the materials are rather expensive. But it's worth it in the yield that you will get in the garden without risking your kids getting stung or your neighbors complaining, because these bees only go about 200 feet from their nesting tubes. So you literally will point them at the garden you want them to work. And this particular bee house is facing our largest garden of our hugelkultur and raised beds in the back. And we'll take you in just a second and show you the smaller bee house, which is going to get a few tubes. It's the smallest house we offer. And then we'll walk you to the front yard and show you a house that I like better than this one that you're looking at right now, because the nesting materials can get expensive. And you really don't need that many bees if you don't have an absolutely huge garden like we do. So here we go. This is the smaller house that I spray painted with Rust-Oleum and then hand painted the tulips on the side. You do that before you stuff it, obviously. It's easy. This is what the eggs look like the little bees are in. That had fallen out of the cocoon, fallen out of one of the tubes in there. Little bee, I'm going to stick it kind of in that hole. Hope I didn't stick it in there backwards. Well, looky here. Jam-packed full of babies. Better in the front than the back, you mean?
Yes. Okay.
This is my favorite house that we built. I call it my medium house. I like it and the small house. What amazes me is we usually don't have as many food crops and fruit trees in the front as we do in the back. So the fact that this is so packed with about to be new arrivals blows my mind. Charlie needs to make me a screen for this bee house, because I do observe, I look out the window and observe the birds coming to eat my babies, and we don't want that. So, dilemma. I got a block of mason bees that would go in there, but I don't think I'm going to have room for them. So I guess the house we're putting together today will house some mason bees. That would go there. I thought we'd have like that much eggs and then put new reeds in. Because that's the back. So it needs to go this way. This is the front. Use the new house. Okie dokie. So let's go do that. You got your power tools ready? What do we need? We need a screwdriver with a bit that fits the screws. Now, when we sell a kit, you get the screws with it, but you supply your own screwdriver. Okay? Catch up to us in the garage on my workbench.